Every 4 years, 48 countries get to play in the World Cup. But there are over 200 FIFA member nations. So how does the whole world squeeze into 48 spots? And why do some countries seem to waltz in while others grind through years of brutal qualifying just to maybe, possibly, hopefully get a shot? This gets messy fast. But I'm going to break it all down in under 5 minutes, because honestly, once you see how it works, you'll never watch a qualifying game the same way again. Let's start with the basics. FIFA doesn't just pick who shows up. The world is divided into 6 continental regions, called confederations. Europe, South America, Africa, Asia, North and Central America plus the Caribbean, and Oceania. Each confederation gets a set number of spots. And then they run their own qualifying tournaments to figure out who fills those spots. Think of it like 6 separate Hunger Games happening simultaneously. Except with more yellow cards. Here's where it gets interesting. Not every confederation gets the same number of spots. And that has always been controversial. Europe, called UEFA, gets 16 spots. They have 55 member nations. So roughly 1 in 3 European teams makes it. Not bad odds. UEFA qualifying runs in groups, then playoffs. Some big names still get knocked out. Italy missed the last World Cup. France nearly did too. No one is safe. South America CONMEBOL gets 6 spots plus a playoff berth for a 7th. There are only 10 countries in South America. So every single nation plays every other nation. Home and away. 18 brutal matches. It's basically the toughest qualifying format on the planet. In theory, Brazil could finish 9th. In practice, they never do. But Argentina? They've come close to not making it. More than once. Africa gets 9 spots this time around. That's an upgrade from previous cycles. There are 54 African nations competing. They go through a group stage, then 2-legged knockout ties. The best 9 teams qualify. Africa has over 1 billion people and some incredible footballing talent: Senegal, Morocco, Nigeria, Egypt, and they get 9 spots. For context, Europe with a smaller population gets 16. FIFA's been hearing about this for years. Asia, the AFC, gets 8 spots plus a playoff spot for a 9th. Asian qualifying is actually fascinating. It happens in 3 rounds. The small nations play first. The survivors feed into group stages. Then the top teams qualify automatically. Japan, South Korea, Iran, Australia, they're usually fine. The fight is for those last couple of spots. Now let's talk about CONCACAF. That's North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. They get 6 spots this time. And honestly, it's a lot, partly because the United States, Canada, and Mexico are hosting the tournament. So they automatically qualify as hosts. Those 6 spots are for the other CONCACAF nations. Costa Rica, Honduras, Panama, Jamaica, they're all fighting for a very limited number of tickets. And then there's Oceania. OFC, Australia left to join the Asian Confederation years ago, which was kind of a power move. Now Oceania is mostly New Zealand and some Pacific Island nations. They get just 1 spot through an interconfederation playoff. 1 spot for an entire oceanic region. New Zealand has to go through multiple rounds and then play a team from another confederation for the right to exist at the World Cup. Rough deal. Here's something most people don't realize. There are interconfederation playoffs. After each region finishes qualifying, some of the best second place or playoff round teams don't go straight to the World Cup. They face teams from other regions in a mini-tournament. 1 spot from Asia might face 1 team from CONCACAF or Oceania in a 2-legged playoff. Whoever wins goes to the World Cup. These games are absolute chaos. The stakes are enormous. And they happen quietly while everyone's watching the Champions League. So let's zoom out. 48 spots, 6 confederations, hundreds of nations, years of qualifying games, and a handful of playoff wildcards. This is the machine that produces the World Cup field. Every match in a random stadium in Ouagadougou or Ulaanbaatar or San Jose, it all connects back to this. Someone in that crowd is watching a game that will determine whether their country gets to be on the biggest stage in the world. That's what makes World Cup qualifying different from almost anything else in sport. The journey isn't just a formality. For most of these nations, the journey is the whole story. So we started with a simple question: how do countries qualify? And the answer is: it depends entirely on where you're from. Europe has 55 nations chasing 16 spots. South America has 10 nations in a brutal round-robin. Oceania has a whole confederation fighting for the right to play one playoff game. The system isn't perfect. It never will be. But it does produce 3 years of football we barely pay attention to, and then 48 teams we care about more than anything. The real question is, when the 2026 World Cup kicks off in New York, Los Angeles, and Mexico City, how many of those 48 teams will you know the full story behind? If you want more videos breaking down football, sports, and the systems behind them, subscribe. We do this every week. And the next one is going to surprise you.